so-and-so from CBS News Channel 6. Can we talk to you? No, go away. Like,
no, but I get that. But still,
Day one.
Any call could have been the key call from the kidnapper. Number one.
True.
Number two, I'm making assumptions here. I have to assume that the police let the media know, hey guys, don't be calling in.
I'm not going to agree with that.
No, I mean,
the media ignores that crap all the time.
But seriously, I could see where the police would say, hey, we have to keep that line open in case their kidnapper calls in. We have to keep it open, dude.
I also don't think news agencies call people. I think they just show up on their doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
They did a lot of here.
The first string does. The third string doesn't. Like the radio station, they don't have a guy to send down there. But my other thing to think about, and again, I realize I'm defending these people when I say these things, and it's not to defend them, it's just that I see other reasons. But the other thing is, I don't know if you've ever had this, but I know people who don't understand how to use call waiting. Mm-hmm. So it may have been that he never understood how to use this gall dang call thing comes through.
I can't believe he's quite that dumb. I mean,
you know what? I have known perfectly intelligent people who look at their phone and go, What are these other three buttons for that don't have numbers or the picture of a red or green phone on them?
Yeah, the 97 was what it was. Is you got the beep, you hit the receiver button, and you clicked over to the other line.
Well, what if you were on a cordless phone though?
Even on a cordless phone, it was probably possible. But the thing about
there's no button on a cordless phone.
No, it's true.
There's a hang up and there's an answer and a disconnect button.
No, I mean,
so which one would you hit?
There is a way to, and I don't know if he was on a cordless phone or not.
I'm being a jerk about this, but I'm making a point.
I think realistically,
it's confusing to people at that time.
I just think realistically, in the end, right? Even if you don't know how to use call waiting, right? That first time you hear that thing going, you go, oh crap, Dave, I'm sorry, somebody's ringing the other line, I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You don't stay on the phone.
No.
Or you say, hey, Mr. Police Officer, sir, I was just on the phone with my brother Dave and I heard call waiting ringing. I didn't know how to switch over. What do I do? You bring it up. If you actually think that a kidnapper is calling for ransom, you bring it up and you hang up the phone. Even if you can't figure out how to duck over to that other line.
Well, let me tell you something else too.
That's completely logical. I agree with.
Now you got to understand something else too. Steve was a real estate agent. Do you understand how key the phone is to a real estate agent?
I do.
Yeah.
But I don't know how good of a real estate agent he was.
Well, I mean, look at the house they were living in. It was a nice house. I think up until this whole thing happened and his business went down the toilet, he was probably doing pretty well.
I thought he had just started in the real estate biz at that point. I didn't think he had been in it for a while ahead of time.
I had no idea how long he was selling houses, but apparently maybe he had only just started, but he was just doing really well because the market was really hot right at that point. Because remember, that's a bubble. I mean, the bubble was still going on then. You know, it was like that was kind of the beginning.
So it's
in the middle of the bubble.
Any idiot will serve.
Yeah, but
sorry, go ahead.
No, but I get a guy. I've got to tell you, I've dealt with many real estate agents, and they live and die by their phones.
It's true.
Yeah, they do.
I just think we've ad nauseum discussed Steve's downfall of phones. So
yeah, I
know how to use a phone. Don't say it's my downfall.
It's your downfall.
Steve. But anyway, this is
okay.
Among other things, this is one of the things that right from the start told the police that the parents knew something.
At least something.
That doesn't mean that they murdered Sabrina, but they knew something, and I suspect they did know something. So let's go through our theories here, which is that Steve and Marlene killed Sabrina. I don't think that either one of them...
Is this intentional or unintentional?
I think most likely, unintentional.
Okay.
Because it's not totally out of the realm of possibility, but I've seen pictures. These guys have seen photos.
Oh, the pictures and the videos?
Yeah. And they're smiling and they're happy, and they're very happy with their little baby.
Very typical.
Yeah, and so... they didn't look to me like they were hating on Sabrina to want to kill her. So I'm thinking that if they did kill her, it was accidental. It might have involved some sort of negligence, which maybe would have looked kind of bad, and maybe made them want to keep it quiet. I don't know. Let's see. What can I think of? I ran over the baby with the car in the driveway or something like that. That kind of thing.
That would be blatant negligence to try to hide. Yes.
So that's one of the things I'm thinking I'm thinking of one of those baby shaking incidents, where people don't mean to, but they shake the baby and the baby's neck breaks and the baby dies and all that stuff.
Which, God, it's terrible to think of. It actually still effing happens. Yes,
it does happen. I mean, and so it could have been something like that. So I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on that? Yeah.
No, I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No.
I never like it.
You don't like it?
No.
Okay.
Next up.
So next theory is that Steve and Marlene sold her. They crunched the numbers. They decided they couldn't afford to have 3 children after all, and so they found themselves a wealthy buyer and peddled her. This has got a lot of problems too, of course.
The first of which is it's relatively easy to adopt your child out.
Yeah, and so it would be a little greedy to be like, asking for money on top of that. Of
Actually,
course,
that happens a lot.
Yeah, you could do it. You could definitely. And so she was a cute little kid, and also, white children are much more in demand than say black and brown children. Hate to say it, but it's true.
No,
Yeah.
it is true.
Yeah.
People oftentimes. I mean, I have a family member who they have been waiting to adopt a child for 5 years now because they will only take a white boy with no mental handicaps that is an infant because they want it to look like it's theirs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just like,
it's like,
I have
good luck with that, guys.
I have a lot of personal problems with that, notwithstanding, but I know that's a thing. A lot of people will pay top
Someday
dollar.
cloning will solve their problem.
Yeah, I mean, they will
until
pay,
which time they will not have a child.
Yeah.
Well, they will. I mean, if they're willing to pay.
Eventually.
Yeah. But it seems weird that it would have been, 5 months, right? I mean, they knew for 9 months prior.
Yeah.
And then to wait the additional 5 months, and then after 5 months, finally be like, oh yeah, okay, but take.
You would think that at that point they would have been so attached.
Yeah.
But
you bond with that baby.
you do. But you never know. I mean, maybe she was a really crappy baby. I mean,
Well, I know
she
you're.
was.
no, she doesn't. No.
I know you're joking when you say that.
I am joking. Yeah.
But it's. Yes, I could see how they might have decided that that they could not sustain a family of 3 children. They couldn't afford it, so they were gonna. I was gonna use the word offload, but that's not the right word to use. They need to give her to another family, and they would like to be compensated for doing so. But again, that is so easy to do. And from the things that I've read about, that girl would have been snapped up in a heartbeat, and they would have been really well compensated. So this doesn't make a lick of sense to me.
Well, it's kind of hard to shop your baby around without leaving sort of a trail, like a paper trail.
Yeah.
That's the reason I don't like.
Yeah, there's no such thing as babies.com for a reason.
But there's also like this is a really big deal to make out of it. I know that this may sound like insane, right? But a private deal between like 2 people, I'm sure you get some lawyers involved, but there's no need for this like national attention, this national accusation of, oh my God, my baby was stolen.
Yeah.
If you have given your baby away and you've been compensated for it, that's all. I personally, not to be judgy or whatever, I think that's weird, but I mean, people do it, and then but why go that extra mile of calling the cops?
Because I would say because
that sours the deal.
Well, it's just it does make your baby. These people have adopted a baby, which is now hot.
Yeah,
that does sour. But on the other hand, you got this 5-month-old baby. You told all your friends know about it. Your family knows about it. Everybody knows about it. And are you going to tell them, hey, we just decided we couldn't afford it, so we gave her up for adoption? You're going to probably sort of just sort of elite over that part about how you got paid money for it.
Yeah, but that's a huge. I mean,
that would be something. I mean, can you imagine what your parents would say if you had a 5-month-old baby and you went to them and said, "Hey, I got rid of the baby"?
Yeah, totally. No, I understand that concept, but also this is a lot of attention to draw to that.
Yeah, I know. It's a big sacrifice to make for this.
And the thing is, I'm sure that you guys have heard the same snippets of the 911 911 call as I have, where Steve was on the call and Marlene is in the background on the phone with her mom.
Yeah.
She is not rational. She is very wound up. If you have just sold your child, that is not what you would be.
Yeah.
Like, again, I understand I sound like I'm on their side, and it's not intentional, but she sounds so effing sincere to me that I'm just like, I don't see how that's real.
Yeah, I think our last theory is the best of the theories, which I think we should move on to.
You want to hear that? Okay.
Well, I don't, but we should talk about it anyway.
Yeah, I know. Okay, yeah, the soul theory is, I don't know, not that great, but my last theory is that one of Sabrina's siblings killed her.
On accident, right? I mean...
Oh, or not, who knows. This thing is not as unusual as you'd think. I did a quick Google, and here's some of the headlines that I found.
So is this infanticide?
No,
Is that the phrase is that the correct phrase?
Well,
correct word?
There are, it's something else when you kill your sibling. I can't remember the exact word.
Siblicide or something?
Fratricide.
I did,
Fratricide, I think that's it.
Fratricide, you're right. I actually...
Don't ask me why I know.
Good job, and really that creeps me out. I gotta call your brother.
Yeah, the search string that I used was how often are babies killed by siblings? And here's some of the headlines that came back at me. These are all recent stories. See, from Chicago... Oh, no, excuse me. No, this is Florida. 2-week-old killed by 6-year-old brother. Mother charged. Next one from the UK. Boy, 12, stabbed baby brother to death. From Rochester, New York. Police say 6-year-old boy killed 3-year-old brother. Houston. This is the most gruesome of the bunch. Toddler dies after older siblings put her in the oven, turned it on.
I'm really disturbed that Joe screen printed a Google search, and that's what.
I recently heard the oven story.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome.
It is, and it was. I believe it was something like they wanted to keep the kid warm. Like it was chilly, and they didn't know how to keep her warm, so they were like, "Get in the oven."
But they're kids, and they don't understand the implications.
Well,
of
their parents
actions.
left them alone. Like the 6-year-old was in charge of the 2 younger ones. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know. I personally would not underestimate the malevolence of children.
No, but they don't understand the permanence
I
of
was
that.
going to say,
Exactly,
I also wouldn't
that.
underestimate the silliness, and I use the word silliness because that's the way children's brains work, is everything is silly. I once lit a string on fire thinking that it was like the fuse I watched in the cartoon. It was going to go and run down to the thing that was below it, and instead the fire ran up and burned my hand, and I couldn't understand why that happened.
Yeah, it's kind of like
that's the basic brain function.
But something every kid has to learn is that the stuff that goes on in cartoons and stuff doesn't really work that way in real life.
But we see it all the time. I still see that crap all the time.
I get it. Yeah,
I watch cartoons all the time.
And so I get it. And here's the thing about kids, and because I've heard of, besides these cases I just mentioned, I've heard of other cases too of siblings murdering the newborn baby because, well, here comes the newborn baby, and suddenly, I'm not the center of attention. I'm not the star anymore. And suddenly, everybody's cooing over the baby. That provokes resentment, and sometimes, not often, but sometimes it provokes, some sort of murderous thing. And the kids don't realize that maybe this is an irrevocable thing, like you said.
Right.
Yeah, and they just don't realize
the permanence of it.
Yeah, and of course there's also the cartoon violence aspect of it too, which is like,
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry, exactly. Because you see that when you're a little kid, and you see that stuff in the cartoons, and the mouse clubs the cat and KOs the cat, but then the cat's back and safe and fine and sound, looking for revenge, and moments later, and.
Well, or even worse, I remember the Tom and Jerry cartoons where they would club the cat or the mouse, and they would get their wings, and they'd go up to heaven, and they'd run around, and then they would get slapped back down in their body, which means, hey, you can come back, it's totally okay.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah, so, the kid could have been motivated by, really resentment, jealousy, which
Or just complete and total accidental misunderstanding.
it could have been. Yeah, but that would be.
It could have been an accident too. I mean,
It could have been. It could have been like, well, or it could have been a sort of combined accident. You know, like again, he cautious a kid with a brick, thinking like, hey, it's a cartoon thing. You know, it's like.
And it goes bonk, and stars show up.
I'm even
Yeah.
thinking something even less malicious, right? Like, so 8-year-old William creeps into Sabrina's.
By the way, we're not blaming the child.
No, I don't blame any of them.
We're
but,
we're just making a
Right. I'm just saying. So like he creeps in and she looks like she might be cold, so he puts like an extra blanket over her and covers her face.
Mm-hmm.
Right. She's 5 months old.
Yeah.
Get out.
Totally suffocates.
Yeah.
Right? That's not even a little malicious, right? It's just an error of judgment because he's 8.
Yeah.
Right? And so like something like that can also happen where it's just suddenly.
But that to me would be if you walked in and there was a blanket over the baby's face and the baby is now dead. I could easily see somebody saying it's SIDS. Sudden infant death syndrome. Like it's not. It would be a stretch for the parents to go, oh well, William, did you do this? Oh well this and this. So now we've got to dispose of it. You just say, William, just don't say anything. The doctor's going to come over. Mommy and Daddy are going to cry and talk. And do you know what I'm saying here? I don't want to flesh the whole thing out.
Rational thought. When's
Yeah.
the last time you had a
Damn
5-month-old
you,
baby?
using that against me.
I'm just saying, when's the last time you had a 5-month-old baby and then 2 like under 10?
I've never had a 5-month-old
house.
baby.
Yeah.
Like there are some things that happen that you just don't.
I think that if it was a case like that and there were no signs of violence, they would have just called the ambulance and.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, I would think that too,
yeah.
but
I think Joe makes a
that
good point.
a
though.
kid doing something on accident is not insane.
No,
I don't
it's
either,
not.
but I think that there had to be some physical signs on the baby, which is one of the problems because there's all this. You guys have seen this. There's all this enhanced or adjusted imagery stuff that shows images of Sabrina days before her disappearance with what looks like marks on her.
Oh yeah.
And that is just so. It is so bad because that could be anything. That could be bad lighting because somebody is now adjusting the photo to call out, marks and whatnot. It's like remember the YouTube star?
That's exactly what I was
Yes,
gonna say.
what was that, like 2 months ago from when we were recording?
Yeah.
2 or 3 months ago. And everybody was like taking stills of her and then running filters on it. And suddenly she had all these marks on her body. It's like, well, there's just different lighting that you ran through something and it showed up different. It doesn't matter.
Well, she did have bruise.
No, she didn't have bruise. Yeah, I mean, they
But it's the same thing. It's like people say, well, she obviously was bruised and the family
she
was
wasn't.
abusing her.
No, she wasn't. No.
Okay. I'm going to get off my soapbox.
Yeah, I think we need to
I have defended these parents enough.
No, I think
I can't help it.
I think that maybe what they were doing was something as understandable as not wanting to destroy and deform one of their children's lives because something horrible happened and maybe the kid wasn't a terrible human being.
And I got to say, I've never followed up on one of these stories, but for let's say a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old who doesn't mean to cause the permanent harm of taking the life of their other sibling. I mean, they have to go through counseling and stuff like that, but it's not as if they are labeled a sibling killer and then followed for the rest of their life.
No, it's not like that, but it's just, I think that they maybe felt like if, say,
I don't think they were going to haul a little 8-year-old.
Oh, no, they're not going to haul them away to
6-year-old to
prison.
jail.
No,
and
hell
give
no.
them the chair.
No, of course not. I mean, you can't. You can't really say that an 8-year-old or a 4-year-old can even form criminal intent. I mean, you really can't say that. So obviously, they're not going to haul them away.
I think 8 is like when they start, and that would be that it would be like William would have been the one.
Well,
I think 8 is when they
like
start
an implement to her and physically beat the child.
And they have to prove that it was premeditated and he, understood what he did, and that's when they start being able to do that. But I mean, I don't think it was intentional. But I also
I don't.
But I also don't know that as a parent I would trust that system, right?
No,
I don't know.
I would want to keep it quiet. I think. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have any more theories?
Without taking this any farther. I mean, I really feel like we've taken all of the tread off of this.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
So too.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, I mean, the parents, I think, knew something. I don't know if you guys still believe that. I think they knew something.
I'm in disagreement with
their
that.
Their motives might not have been entirely heinous. I mean, maybe they were. Maybe they totally murdered her, but not necessarily.
I think it was alien abduction.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
I still think that she's worried about if she should date Bobby Johnson, but that's just me, because Bobby Johnson, that kid needs a haircut. So, of course, she should be worried about dating that guy.
Okay. Who's Bobby Johnson?
That boy.
Okay.
A terrible, terrible boy.
Okay. It's time for a little housekeeping here. Well, you probably wonder if we have a website. Well, we do finally. It took a while, but...
Years!
Yeah, I know, finally. But it's called ThinkingSidewayspodcast.com. You can find us, of course, on iTunes. You can stream us to billions of websites, and, of course, there's Google Play. And all these places, if you can, subscribe, give us a rating, give us a review, a really nice review, that we like those better.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, we have a group plus a page, and we're on Twitter. We're Thinking Sideways without the G. A subreddit, Thinking Sideways, and you'll find that subreddit on Reddit, of all places. And we have email, of course, thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com. So if you have thoughts, you want to suggest an episode, you want to just tell us how much you love us, drop us an email. And of course, if you want to support the show, you can support us on Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com /Thinking Sideways, where you can pledge money, it's like pledge $1 an episode or whatever. But you will be dinged every, so don't think it's a one-time thing. You get dinged every episode.
Yep.
Yeah. And of course, it's totally optional. You don't have to do that at all.
There's a lot of people who don't contribute financially, and that's totally cool.
That's right.
It's not a requirement. We appreciate it, but it's not a requirement. And for everybody who's doing it, thank you for being willing to do so.
Yeah, it's awesome. And if you're not contributing, we'll try to do something out there, like, have a blog of your own. Don't talk about unsolved mysteries, but have a blog of your own and talk about something.
Don't steal our thunder.
No, exactly. Yeah, you contribute to the content of the internet, And besides Patreon, of course, if you want to support us, there's also merch. You can go to a website and buy all kinds of cool stuff, like mugs and T-shirts. And
working on new stickers.
Yeah, and stickers.
The hat thing was an epic failure, so I'm working on stickers again.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll come up with more cool stuff. And last of all, of course, there's PayPal. You can make a one-time contribution on PayPal, and again, totally optional. So that's about it. We're done with this mystery, and until next week, it's ciao.
Bye.
Hey guys, Steve here. You are listening to one of our original 26 episodes. If you've listened to any of our new episodes, you're going to notice that we're sounding a little different in these ones.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
There is.
They've been remastered.
They have been remastered.
Because they had a really annoying hum.
Yeah, I mean, a huge thanks to listener James for doing almost all of the legwork on this thing.
Yeah.
You'll also notice if you had listened to what we're calling the Lost 26 episodes before, and you're re-listening now, the music and sound effects are gone.
Yes, we've gone back to straight audio. So be warned, we sound a little different today than we do in what you're about to listen to.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thinking sideways. Stories of things we simply don't know the answer to.
Hey everyone, welcome to a very special episode of Thinking Sideways, the podcast. It's the holiday episode. Merry Christmas in the Western, Santa ho ho ho, not the offensive religious or not offensive religious way.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells.
The awesome, fun presents way. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Woo!
I'm Devin.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Joe.
So, speaking of Christmas,
Favorite holiday.
it's a pretty good one.
Huh?
I know.
Better than Halloween?
Yeah, it's pretty good. You get presents. You get to sit around and drink hot
Eggnog.
cocoa and eggnog and just
eat a lot. And,
eat a lot and just like hang out in warm houses and there's snow outside and everyone's
Sometimes.
just so happy, I feel like, right?
It's pretty cool.
And you
It's
can just
nice.
pretend if there's snow, if there's not actually snow. We don't get a lot of snow here, I know, but
I know. I just go out and I spray paint my yard white.
it's the perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
It's a very Oregonian way.
Very organic.
So I kind of wanted to talk about the mystery of Santa.
There's a mystery.
The unsolved mystery.
Well, the unsolved mystery, yeah. I mean, we all know Santa's real.
Of course.
Yeah.
But, I kind of have some questions I want to talk about because we think about Santa, but, we just kind of accept it a lot, I
Yeah.
feel like. But, there's some really serious questions here, like how does he fit all of those presents in his sleigh?
Uh-huh.
Or, like, how does he actually get around to, like, all of the children? Right? I mean, those are some pretty big questions.
No.
What? Do you know the answer?
It's magic.
No, it's not magic.
I thought he used UPS.
No.
What? I'm confused.
It's not magic. I mean, Steve, come on. I mean, we are skeptics on this show. You know magic's not real.
Yeah,
We
seriously,
talk about
dude.
aliens on this show. Magic is definitely
Do
real.
we talk about aliens in seriousness, though?
Magic's real.
I think that there are some really great explanations out there.
I think there are some very good, solid scientific explanations.
Other
for Santa.
than magic.
Yeah.
Okay,
For example,
all right,
the sack,
all right.
how does it hold so many presents? Well, because it uses transdimensional transportation. It's essentially when they go in the mouth of the sack, they go into another dimension.
That's actually a really good theory.
So that's
one of my theories.
That's how he manages to load, 500 million presents into one sack.
So let's actually talk about the sack to start with. Well, actually, let's just talk a little bit about Santa, right? I mean,
Okay.
I'm just assuming everybody knows what we're talking about, but Santa's called other things. We call him Santa or Santa Claus. He's also called Saint Nicholas, Saint Nick, Father Christmas, or sometimes Kris Kringle,
Yeah.
right? The bowl full of jelly. Usually he wears the red suit with
And
the
the elves
white.
call him Sir.
Sometimes they do, yeah. So now that we're all on the same page.
Yeah, that's Santa. Okay, I want to
That's
make sure.
Santa,
Okay.
not the other Santa. I don't know.
Yeah.
There might be
The one
other
with the bell in
Santas.
front of Walmart.
Yeah, not that
Yeah,
one.
not that one.
No, not that one.
Okay.
No. Okay, my first question is the toys and the sack, right?
Yeah.
So Joe was just saying that it's another dimension.
Yeah.
It's transdimensional, which is a good theory. I have a different theory, actually.
Yeah.
And it has to do with nanotechnology in like a nano toy maker situation. So it's like a 3D printer almost.
Yeah.
So he doesn't actually carry all the toys with him, but he makes them on site specific to each kid.
Well, yeah,
And he uses the soot as raw material.
and he also can use the soot to make a lump of coal
If
for
you had
crappy
to.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, for the bad kids.
Well, my one problem with this theory is that lots of houses don't have fireplaces and chimneys.
Well, I mean, he's got other stuff.
Well,
I mean, leftovers, right? Don't you
Uh-huh.
think? I mean, I assume that he carries some material with him in case, but most houses do have those sort of things these
Well, I would
days.
say a lot of houses have chimneys, but not all of them. That's,
yeah.
Not all
as
of them.
technology's moved on, we've moved away from the fireplace.
I guess that's true. You can cut off a limb of a tree or something then.
maybe he sends out like crack teams of elf commandos to just burn down houses in certain spots. So
No.
they're just going to be short of materials. Yeah.
That's horrible.
No, I don't think that's what he's doing.
No.
Christmas is a serious subject, man.
He's serious.
You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So the other thing, another question I have is elves.
Uh-huh.
Like, really? Thousands of elves just working for him for like nothing. Like that gets expensive, don't you think? I mean, we're like past the age of indentured servitude, right?
Well, and the other thing too is that doesn't make sense about that. I mean, you guys have seen Lord of the Rings, right? And do you really
Different
think?
elves, different elves,
Oh, see, a different race of elves.
different
then?
kind of elves.
Different kind of elves. Oh, okay.
Yeah, those were tall elves.
Those
I
were,
think
like,
Devin's talking
tall,
about the little
beautiful.
short
Those were
elves.
tall,
Little
deadly elves.
shrimpkin,
Yeah.
Talking about shrimpkin elves. I read this really interesting report about Santa's main distribution center up in the North Pole.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And it's apparently 4 million square feet. It's pretty big. Be the world's largest factory, right?
Okay.
And it's got a real-time warehouse management system, which is required to run the entire complex.
Do the elves wear hard hats?
Yeah, I think they must at this point, right? I think they have to.
OSHA. There's OSHA regulations.
I think OSHA
right?
might be regulated. Yeah. No, because OSHA is just America, and they're in the North Pole. They're in Santa Land. Elfsha. I think it must be Elfsha. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, probably. I'm assuming at some point that Santa decided too many elves were getting killed in industrial accidents and decided to, just beef up safety a little bit. Because we know Santa cares about the elves.
He does care about the elves.
Yeah.
That's pretty clear, I think, isn't it?